Hi, everyone. How is your day going? Sorry, I'm a little bit late. It was due to one work and also I had our BCBA in the home. She was here to supervise, the behavior technicians, and we had a parent training time. So that was why I couldn't join at 6:30 as scheduled. So I'm so sorry about that. All right. So this is a time where, today is April 12th, I believe. Yes. And throughout this month, I'll be coming up every week at one point, any day of the week, but definitely there will be a notice to inform you about when I'll be coming online. I'll be coming on live. And most especially because this month is very, very important to me. As we all know, it's April and it's Autism Awareness Month. So I'm very passionate about this month. And, that is why I decided that, okay, let's see if I can hop on every week and then let's just kind of chat and have address some concerns, answer some questions, and see, how we can learn from each other. So please give me a second. I need to share with a couple of people and see if they are able to join us live. One second, please. Okay. I'm still trying to see if I can share. Okay, let me see. I think share WhatsApp status. Okay, so we can get started, and please feel free. Welcome if you're just joining. For the first time, I'll say welcome. Thank you for joining, and we can get started and see. I'm happy, more than happy to answer any question that you may have for me tonight. And we can also talk about, our children, talk about, you know, um, any updates at all with school, with what is going on in the home. I'm glad that we are in spring and the weather is getting better every day. So, which is a good thing. We can go out to the park, we can go out to places. And so, let me share a little story with you. I think was it last week? The kids were on spring break, and it rained for 3 days consecutively, which I didn't really like, but I intended to take the kids out to go somewhere to have some fun. And as soon as we got to the place, it's a very nice place somewhere south. So as soon as we got there, we arrived early, because I wanted the kids to have some fun and just, enjoy themselves. And it was really good because people at that time, because it's 10, people were not many. I think we're about three or four. It's a big indoor play place. So I took the kids and my husband. We went there. It was about 40 minutes from us. And when we got there, we were able to get a ticket and then start exploring, because that was the first time of being at this particular indoor fun place. So when we got there, Dara loved it. We started with trying to get some toys, and then we moved on to trying to play with, there's a ball place where kids can play, and we had different rides. And Dara loves the rides that will kind of move around. And because of that kind of person, she will want to, she would like something that is that helps with movement. So she was, going, the rides were going up, down, and round, and she was the only one in there. She went there like two times, saying that she wants to go back. She wants to go back. And I was telling her, let's explore other places, right? And then we moved on to another one, another ride. And I remember asking the lady in charge, and I said to her, I said, can she go alone? She said, no, no, I didn't ask her. Before then, I decided, okay, I want to take a ride myself with Daniel and Dara. So I was sitting next to Dara, and I think Ella was sitting with Daniel, and then we began the ride. Oh my goodness, these rides they are not meant for me. I'm so sorry. They are not meant for me because when the ride came to a stop, I was feeling dizzy. I was really feeling dizzy. I don't know how people go on these rides and they survive at the end of it. So, we were going round, and it finally came to a stop. And I was like, okay, I can't even wait to get out of here, because the kids had fun, especially with Dara. Dara was like, I want to go one more time. She requested for one more time. And I said to her, I said, no, we don't want to do one more time because this is hard for me. And we decided, okay, let's go to another place. We went there. Hi, sis. Hi, my big sister. All right, so I'll continue with the story. So we got there, and when we got to this another spot, which is also a ride that will take you around, right? So when we got there, I love it, but I don't know how to describe this. The ride is kind of like, it will take you around, then in that cart you hit yourselves. So I'm like, no, this is not for me. I don't know what kind of rides they have here, but this is definitely for the kids. So I decided that, okay, let me give it a shot. Then I decided to go on. I had Daniel, Dara with me. I held them so tight. I was just like, just praying in my mind, like, oh my gosh, God help me, God help me. I don't know what kind of thing that I, put myself into. I don't want to do this right. But finally, it came to a stop again. And I was losing my mind, I was losing my mind, like, okay, so how do I get out of this cart? But Dara was enjoying it. And again, when the ride came to a stop, I said, okay, it's time for me to, um to calm down. And Dara pointed to the previous rides that we had before, saying that, mommy, can I have another turn? Can I go? And I said, and I asked the lady in charge saying that, okay, is it possible that Dara can take this ride alone, because I don't want to, I'm not interested in it, because when we got on first, it was just, I was feeling dizzy and I don't want to fall down. Remember, I had the three of them here. And the lady was like, oh, we need adults only. And immediately Dara was ready to go on it. And I said to her, I said, Dara, we're done. Can we please go on the other side? I don't want to take this ride again. And Dara lost it. Dara, you need to see Dara. Dara, she laid flat on the floor crying. And, because she really wanted to get on that ride, she cried for a minute. In fact, I'm glad that we went early, because otherwise people will start looking, people will start looking here and there. I mean, which is, I wouldn't say it's normal, but for people to look. But when you look once, take your eyes off, right? Don't stare at my child like, So I saw a couple of people looking, but I didn't really care. But I said, Dara, look, we need to leave now if this behavior is still going to continue. And she was like, no, she wants to go on the ride. I said, well, if you want us to go on this ride, not today, because I'm not fit enough. I immediately after I got on that ride with you, I was feeling really dizzy. And I'm like, no, this is not for me. I'm not coming. There's no way I'm coming on this ride again. So I said, okay. Then my husband, was trying to pacify her, talk to her, like, Dara, look, we can't, trying to explain to her. Dara did not listen. And I feel so bad, because I'm like, okay, then we need to go if you are not having it. And my plan was, after they must have gone through the indoor rides, then we'll go outside to take another ride. So until this happened, and Daniela was so upset, she was upset. She was like, oh, mommy, are we leaving now? I said, well, unfortunately we have to leave, because Dara was acting, this, she saw it too. So Ella was kind of sad, but at the same time, I think she got the message. And I said to her that for now we just need to leave. Let's see how Dara would do and calm down. And Dara really, she caused a scene, a big scene. And I Daniel was already acting funny, like, oh, my sister is losing, doing whatever she wants to do, and I'm here to have some fun. But Dara she didn't really care. She just wanna, just go on that rides. And then we were able to just figure it out. We took her inside the car, and then it took about few minutes for her to calm down, right? It took a little bit. Hi, Paige. So it took her about a few minutes for her to calm down, because she wanted to go on that ride. But I said, well, for me, I felt dizzy and I don't want to fall. So eventually she calmed down, and we were like, okay, maybe some other time to we can try again. But if it's with this behavior, I don't know if we'll be able to do that. But at that point, I knew that that was going to trigger something, you know, but I wasn't sure what, because as soon as we got there and she wanted to go up, and I turned to the lady and said that, excuse me, can Dara go alone? As soon as she said, no, she needs an adult, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't go on this ride alone. And then she just, she totally lost it. And I saw the trigger right there. Sometimes, so I want to apply that to our daily lives, that sometimes we are able to pick on some of those triggers um, from our children. We are able to. And if we're able to control it before they get to the point where they will start throwing tantrums, I think it's much better, right? When you already know that no, most of the time, turns our children off. When you say no to something that they want or something that they like, right, that turns them off. And then they start acting out, and then they throw themselves on the floor, and then, they do a couple of things. And if you're that parent that that gives in. And I'm telling you, you will give in as well. As we know, children are very manipulative. They have a way of just doing stuff so that you give in to them. So if you're able to just redirect, which is something I like to do, redirect, or tell her that, can we try this first and then we do this? Or try to say, oh, I'll just come up with something and just try to keep her mind from putting up that behavior. I think it's something that we can do, because for our children, they will throw that tantrum where you don't like like in a public place. They will throw that tantrum in a public place. And like I said, that is totally fine. People will look. That is okay. People will look and stare. That look like, did you train up this child? Is this parenting to you? But regardless, that's your child. That's your child. Whatever people say, whatever the look, I will say that don't let that get to you, because you just want to be sure that your child is safe, which is the main thing that we're looking at here. That is your child safe in this environment? Um, can she get hurt? Can she calm herself? Are there soothing activities that you can engage in? And I know that another thing, yes, and I know that another thing I also tried with her is, to try to do some breathing and then count down. When she was upset, in the car, we tried that. And at one point, she got herself together. You're very right, ma'am. So we shouldn't let them have their way all the time. Yes. No, sometimes you have to reach like a point. You have to get to that point where you will decide if this is a time where you can give into this behavior, or this is not a good time for me to give into this behavior. So yes, children are very manipulative, so you can't always have, especially if it's something that you feel like, no, this is not happening now. You want them to have that idea that we may come back to it later on, but at this moment, at this time, I don't advise that we do this. Sometimes you might have to explain too. It's good sometimes if you explain to them so that they better understand. Like I said, I shared it in one of my videos that kids, they understand. But the fact that they have autism does not mean they don't understand. They understand everything that you say to them. So, but the fact is that the way they understand is different. So if you're able to just, go over it and just, sit your child down and do a debrief about the behavior that just occurred, I think they do understand. So if you're able to just, hi sis, you're welcome. So if you're able to just, explain to them what just occurred, because I did with Dara, I said, what just occurred inside is unacceptable and I totally get it. But we have ways to communicate. You communicated, but I said that I cannot go on that ride because I was feeling dizzy. I was feeling so dizzy. I don't know if I had gone for the next ride. Honestly, I would have, I don't know, maybe I would have been on the ground. I really don't know, but I was really feeling dizzy, while on that ride. Those rides are not for me. I don't know how people do it, but and then I thought about it, like maybe she loves the rides, but it's better for the ones that are for our age and not just for adults. She loves rides that spins. She loves it, and she does not see anything. In fact, she was smiling all through. But for me, So for me, no. So I'm already thinking in my mind that maybe she can find other places that get she will get that kind of ride that are not higher or make me feel dizzy. We just come up with something. And then I figured out, like, okay, now that I've noticed that this is a trigger, she wants to get on this ride, but mom is saying no because mom was feeling dizzy, right? And then next time we'll go, I know that that is a no-go area. So maybe we choose another place where we can play in order to avoid triggering that behavior. Because anytime she sees that ride, she might want to say, "Oh, I want to go on that ride, but I can't. I'm not fit to go on that ride." So I want to prepare our mind ahead of time, saying that no, we're not going on that ride, or choosing a different place entirely, right? So if you choose a different place entirely, maybe when we go back there, we might choose an outdoor activity, which I think might be very good for her and which is fit for kids alone, not with adults, not with me, not, not with me. Thank you for joining my life. Thank you so much. Please let me know if you have questions. So yeah, so as I was saying, so I will look out for some of those things, that can trigger those behaviors. So definitely we're not going into that area with those rights because I already know that this is a trigger, right, for her. Now, coming back, most of our children, they like, like I said before, writes that spins a lot. It's just because the way they are, their brain is the way their brain is. So they kind of get some kind of comfort when you, even with not with the rides alone. Dara loves to spin. Like, for example, she will climb on me and say, "Mommy, spin me." She will request for it, and I will do that. So that kind of, like, that's what our body needs, and help her to calm, sometimes, especially when she's upset, and I pick her up and I spin and she's good. But at that point with that ride, that is an extra kind of spinning. That is not like the regular spinning. That will take you up, spin, down, spin, up. Mm-mm. So, so I gave up on, on those rides. Or we might likely explore other places that have, the rights that are meant for children who are, younger, not for me, for adults. So let me know any question coming in. Thank you for joining. I see you on Facebook. Thank you for being here. I see you on YouTube. Are there any questions? So let me go back for people that are just joining. um this month is Awareness Month, and as you all know, I am passionate about, anything autism, advocating for our children, helping our children how we can also best support them while while they are, you know while they are with us and while we are with them as well. So if there's any question you have about autism, or you need some clarifications, please feel free to drop it in the chat, and then I'll be able to address, your questions. Something that I someone brought a question, up to me recently, and she talked about why are parents in denial. She was sharing how one of our family who attend our daycare saw that what our child was doing at home, and she felt like the child was not supposed to be doing that. And she took the child for an evaluation. Upon getting to this evaluation, she was told that a child has autism, and she was upset and felt like, no, she was in denial. She said, no, my child does not have it, and there's nothing anybody can do. And it was really a struggle to um talk to this parent, to address what our fear was at that time, because she felt like, oh, they're just trying to label my child, like most people do say that. But unfortunately, if there's no diagnosis, no formal diagnosis, your child do not get the services that they need. And how are you going to provide the support that your child needs when there are no diagnosis? So I know it's hard. I know it's something that people want to just stay clear of, because they feel like, no, my child does not have it. But the reality is, the earlier you start, the better, right? The earlier you start getting, thank you, sis. The earlier you start, getting those support, I tell you, the better. You will look back in 10 years' time, you will look back in many years' time and say, wow, I'm glad that I took the step. for my child. I'm glad that I'm able to, help my child. Now, if you think like, oh, because you're in denial, maybe because you feel ashamed, like, oh, I don't want people to know. Look, there's nothing to hide about your child. No, absolutely nothing. Let I think it's good enough for you to let people know, so that they are aware, just in case anything happens to your child, or to the mother. Then they are able to know, oh, I remember your mom talking to me about this. They're able to better manage your child. There was this salon that I made my hair, and it's about, like, it's 1 hour away from me. And I noticed that there was this boy. No, there's this boy. He is about, I would think, 18 years, 17 or 18. And I saw him helping out in that hair salon. I saw him picking, hair, here and there, just supporting people that are busy making, hair. And this kind of salon, you have different, how you have different people having their chairs. So each woman has had a customer when I visited. And this boy was nonverbal. As soon as I saw that it was steaming, and steaming is when some repetitive behavior that they engage in, like either flapping their hands, or they try to do this, or they try to bring their hands to their face. I saw that I was doing that, and immediately I knew it. I knew it. I said, "Oh, this boy is probably on the spectrum." And I saw him, trying to pick some of the extensions that dropped, and just trying to help them out. And the the one of the customers gave this boy $20 and said that, "Oh, good job for helping out," something like that. And the boy kept the money in his pocket. So he was putting on a light jacket, and the outer part is the heavy jacket. So the money was not in his hand when the owner of the salon came over and said, "Hey, where is the money that was given to you?" And because the boy was nonverbal, he didn't say anything. And the woman kept looking, trying to look into his pockets, especially the big jacket, the heavy jacket. She looked into the pocket and said, "Oh my goodness, I don't know where you kept this money." She was already complaining, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna check the camera to see if maybe someone took the money away from the boy." And people were saying that they saw the money with him like a few minutes ago. They were wondering where he kept the money. And thank you, Ma. So they were wondering where he kept the money. And then he brought, as soon as, a few minutes after, the owner of the salon went back to this boy again and said, he mentioned his name. He said, Wait, where did you keep the money that was given to you?" And because the boy was nonverbal, was just, making that sound, mm-mm. And the woman just dip her hand in the inner jacket, and that was where she found the money, the $20. She found it in that inner jacket, and no one ever thought that the money would be there. And you know what the woman said? She said, "Oh wow, I never knew that you could keep money, and you heard us talking about this money, but you didn't bring it out." I forgot to say that the initial, when they asked him for the $20, he brought $1 out. So he understood at that point that they were asking for the money, but I'd rather give you $1. Now tell me, you think the boy does not know that that $20 is much more than $1? And then the boy, that then as soon as the woman took the $20 from this boy, the boy attempted to take the money back. I'm telling you. And so the woman was like, "Okay, you need to calm down, but I'm gonna get you snacks with this money." And they went out together. That taught me something at that moment. And I didn't mention, I was observing, but the woman just thought that customers are here, they were not listening. I was observing the whole entire time. And I was asking the lady that was making my hair at that point, I said, "Is that the boy's mom?" She said, "No, that the boy lost her mother, I think a year or 2 years ago." And honestly, I felt so sad, because the mom was not there, to care for a child. But this salon, the owner of the salon was taking care of this boy. And you need to see the way she cared for this boy. Like, neatly dressed, well shaven, very handsome boy. I mean, he's a man, already almost 18. It looked very, very good. And while I was, chatting with the lady making my hair, and I was like, wow, I love the way they, their kind of interaction. I love the fact that the woman, trying to just chat with him. I know you need this money. I know you need us to get snacks. And that gave me an idea of the bond, between the caretaker, which is even not the boy's biological mom, and the boy. I saw the understanding right there. Like, okay, this is not your child, but the way you know the child enough, right, to take care of him. This I've never heard one word from this guy, not one word, but he knows everything going on around him. So, oh, all right. So thank you for listening to my story. Any question? Anything you would like to know about, autism? Like I said before, it is Autism Awareness Month. There's no silly question. Anything that you feel like you need to know, maybe about adults living with autism or with children living with autism, or let's spread the awareness. That's something I also want to touch on. Let's spread the awareness. Some people still have not come to the realization that autism exists. you know um oh, okay, I have a question here. Okay, I will come to the question. So let's spread the awareness so that people know that they are not alone. When I see those kind of moms with children with autism, I let them know that I am one. So you don't need to feel ashamed. You don't need to feel uncomfortable, because I understand what you're going through. It's not some professional telling you what to do. I'm a mom myself. Then they'll feel much more comfortable to be able to share and talk to you. So I'm going to address one of the questions here. Okay, Sister Grace said that, what about a child, excuse me, not talking but can read? I think, see, there's one thing that I appreciate about our children living with autism is that they are very smart. Very smart. You know, with the story that I shared before about the boy that I saw at the salon, that showed me something. So the fact that they're nonverbal or non-vocal does not mean that they cannot do stuff. So for Daniel uses an iPad, and he uses it to communicate and answer questions. He has an app on his iPad, where he has all the words, everything he needs to do, even if he needs to go to the bathroom, anything he wants to request, or anything he needs to express himself. He will bring out his iPad, and then you know tap on anything that he wants. For example, if he needs to, let's say he wants an apple, he will go right to his iPad, and he knows that everything on that iPad like the back of his hand. He will go there and say, I want an apple. He knows where to go. Even in school, I remember the last time we had a parent teachers conference. One of the therapists was saying to me that Daniel has favorite teachers that he loves to see: the principal, the vice principal, and I think the school counselor. And Daniel will, after speech therapy, because they want to use that as a form of reward for him, he will go on his iPad and say, I want to see Mr. It will click on the person's name, and then they will walk over there. I think that's a kind of motivation for him. So he will do that. And then, so See, it's coming to your question. A child that is not talking but can read. There's so many ways our children can communicate. There's so many ways they can read. An example is, the one that I share with you for Daniel. So he uses his tablet. They will read a book to him, and then they will ask him questions after reading the book, and he will tap on his iPad to answer the questions. So, it's a spectrum. Some can read, some cannot. Dara can read, sometimes can be lazy, but Dara can read, and Daniel cannot fully read, the words. So thank you for everyone that's just joining. Please let me know if you have a question. I'm just addressing a question here from my sister on Facebook that says, "What about a child not talking but can read?" So there are different phases. If you, depending on where you are, too, there are different several options of communicating. Some kids use visual schedules. Some kids use they use what's it called? Oh my gosh. Visual schedule, augmentative communication. That one, apart from the device, they will have like a folder where they will put everything for this child to communicate. So they will pull it out and show you what they want. And I think I shared one of the PECs. They call it PECs, Picture Exchange Communication System. I think I have that in one of my videos here on the channel, on my YouTube channel, where you can use PECs, and it can help your child. Hi sis, I know that's you. So yeah, so you can use PECs that can also help your child so that they are not, frustrated when they are communicating. So PECs is a good way to have them. This would depend, like I said, this would depend on your child's needs. So just, hi. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. So, just look around and see what best suits your child. And not everyone will use the PECs. Not everyone will use the AAC device. Not everyone will have the same thing. Like we know, not everyone on the spectrum are the same. There are no two people with it. Everyone has different symptoms. What you see in Dara is different from Daniel. So there are two different individuals with two different personalities. So please let me know if you have any question. I hope I'm able to answer your question about the child not talking but can read. I mean, but the main thing, the most important thing that I tell my clients as an early intervention practitioner is that don't stop talking to your child. Don't take off screen time. Yesterday I had a session with one of my clients, and for weeks I've been talking to her about using the tablet. And she said, "Oh, my child is learning from the tablet." I said, "I get it." And because of I don't want to engage in like something like a conflict of interest, I would have shared one of my videos with her. And I said that, we it communication is a two-way thing. You don't want to just have your child staring at the phone, the tablet all the time. You want them to be able to communicate with you. Let them hear the words from you, right? It's not, even as an adult too, if you need to communicate with someone, you want to do face to face, compared to you just watching. They learn. Definitely they learn when they're watching, but there's no form of communication. So and spending much time on screen is something I can't stop talking about. I know it calms them down. I totally get it. I totally understand. But let there be short breaks in between. If you want to do a couple of minutes, adjust the setting, switch things around so that your child is not always on the screen. This is something that I know that if you continue to give your child enough or more screen time, they don't get to communicate with you. Then the words they are learning from you begin to decline. You don't want to do that. right? What you want to do is encourage them. Exactly. iPad limits communication. Very, very true. So, what you want to do is to limit the time that is spent on those screens and improve on their communication. You're cooking, have your child right there. Oh, I have a spoon. They love, look, there's no child that does not love to mix something or scoop something or do some form of activity. They love it. They love to help mommy, right? So with young children, engaging them, and it doesn't have to be you sitting down and then just talking to them. How are you? How are you doing? How is it going? No, engage them in activities. That way, they are able to hear and learn those words from you. I remember that I think there was a time where, um, for Ella, when Ella comes back from school, I remember what I want to say. Yes, when Ella comes back from school, every day, what I do, I will, ask, how are you doing? How is school? Tell me your best part of today. Tell me your worst part of today. She's able to share. I am, kind of asking her, what do you want to share? What happened? I'm not just going straight to the point like, how was your day? How did it go? And then we end the conversation. I want to have I want to have it as an open communication, like, so she's able to talk. Oh, we went to gym. After that, we went to lunch. After that, we went for another activity because I want her to talk more. So those are some of the suggestion that I'm going to be giving to you to try to engage them such that they know that, it's not a one-way thing, right? So if you're communicating with your child, you're asking follow-up questions. And for those who are nonverbal, that does not mean you stop talking too. They can hear you. They understand. They understand. So, just limit that screen time. Like I said, I'm not saying scrap screen time entirely. Just have a schedule, routine in place. Kids know when they have a schedule. They sometimes will remind you that, oh, this is not the time for this. So make sure you set up a schedule for your child to know screen time, or you can just go outside, drive around your neighborhood, and say something like, oh, I see a tree, I see leaves. What are the colors of the leaves? You talk about it. Anything you see, oh, did you see the deer? What color is the deer? That way you're engaging, and it's not like it's only one person talking. So please let me know if you have any question for me at this point. Thank you for joining. Um, Let me know, please, if you have any question at all or something you want us to address tonight. I'm more than happy to answer our questions. Any question at all? Okay, I think I'm going in and out of Facebook. The network is kind of wacky, but all right. So if there are no questions, thank you for being here. And thank you for being here. I hope you have a good evening. And if you remember that, if you are able to just think about your question, please feel free to email me. Hi, thank you for joining. I see someone just joining. Thank you for joining, Miss Week. Do you have any question for me? All right. So please feel free to shoot me an email. This month, oh, that reminds me, in my church this month, I'll be sitting with about two of my sisters. We have a panel where we'll be talking about developmental delays, not only autism. We have one person that'll be addressing, I think, the school part. We have, we have different topics to discuss. I think it will be a great session so that, our new mothers, can are aware of what is out there, the support that are available to them, people you can speak to, and things like that. So, thank you for being here. If there are no questions, have a good evening and enjoy your weekend. Thank you, my Facebook family. Thank you, YouTube family, for being here. Bye.